Hey, hey, how's it going, pirates? We are back. It's another week, and I'm so excited for today's show. And I have my main man right here, Mr. Lord of Thane. How you doing, buddy?
Hi, I'm not so good because my team just lost the
Oh,
semifinal.
man, that
So there, well,
sucks. I was hoping they were going to get that win, so you would have been in like bright, happy spirits. But hey, we'll try to make up for it on today's show because we have an awesome guest
definitely.
in our Creators Corner. So it's going to be a great one. But first, let's say hi to the chat. Who do we have with us today?
Well, Brian was here first
Oh, yeah.
um, from Outer Multiverse, and that's quite a long way. So hi, Brian. Then Schmebulog to you too, Bjorn.
Hey, hey. I think I saw
Pirates,
Justin as well.
Pirates is here, and Justin Welsh is here. Yeah.
Awesome. I'm sure
And
more people are going to be trickling in as we go
oh,
on.
Starboy Station is here now.
Awesome.
Thank
Anybody else
you.
trickling in?
Yeah, and it's a bummer. He says sorry because my team lost. Because if we had been going to the finals, which is in London, my son
Right.
and I would have traveled to London, and on that
Oh,
trip, I
wow.
already had made an appointment with Lockdown Productions Nassau to go and
Oh,
visit his
man.
place.
That would have been
So
cool.
it's a
Oh,
double
wow.
bummer. Then
Next
Yayo
time.
is here.
Awesome. Very late or
Hello,
early,
Yayo.
depending on how you want to see it. Glad she could make
And
it.
Jason Jensen.
Nice. Good to see you, Jason.
Jerry is here as well.
Hey, Jerry.
Grumpy Puppet. So yeah, people
Wow. They're
are
trickling in.
trickling.
We're getting a
Yeah,
lot of our usual suspects. So thank you all for being here. Click that like button if you haven't done so already. Oh, nice T-shirt representing representing the Creators
yeah.
Corner.
I'm not giving anything away here. I hope.
But anyways, with that said, why don't we just get started? Hey, hey, how's
Hey,
it
what's up?
going? We
Hey,
have
guys.
Dom. We have Dom here from Toy Domination. So if you
We
guys don't
won.
know who they are, you're gonna find out today. So we're really excited to have you on the show today, man. So thank you so much for taking time out of your day to be a part of our show. So that's awesome stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Anytime, man. So yeah, basically what we tend to do is we like to obviously bring, now we just started doing this, the whole bringing somebody on. Before we would actually just go to different people's pages and just talk about their stuff, but now we actually get to pick our creators corners brains. So the creators that we have on, we get to actually ask them live questions and
Oh
people
man.
get to learn a little bit more about you. So that's what we're going to do today. And before we actually jump into that, let's actually go into some of the stuff that got you started, I guess. Let's go into some slides. So yeah, so we have Mr. Dom here from Toy Domination. Now, what I got when I actually started watching you, it was actually with your ship, the Meyer.
Oh yeah.
That's what actually got me started into your channel. And then when I started seeing your live streams, I was like, oh my goodness, these guys are awesome. So both you and Joe. So those of you that don't follow Toy Domination, they actually have a live stream every Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern. Definitely check them out. Go to their page, give them a quick like, subscribe, and actually check out some of their videos. We're going to be talking about some of the content that you create, and I'm looking forward to that. So, but before we get into like things that you're working on right now, I actually kind of want to touch upon the Meyer, which is again my favorite part of your show. At least that's what got me started. And can you tell a little bit some of the people who maybe are new to who you are, what the Meyer is all about?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for plugging it. And so I'm long overdue to do another video of this, but everyone's got space stations and really cool setups, or they're setting up cities and dioramas. But and maybe it's because of my very American expeditionary mindset, right? But I'm always like, no, Americans go out, we go away from our area, so we're always traveling, going places, especially in a military context, right? And I'm a big fan of military sci-fi, so I was like,
Right.
well, I can't always have the same setting, because what if we go to a different planet? What if the action
Right.
takes place somewhere else? So a ship, though, is transportable. So you can have the same characters traveling about, and then especially with the boys and I play, like the living room floor, not the living room floor, but the game room floor beneath it
Right.
is always in change and in flux. Like it's an
Right.
outpost, it's a city. So, but what stays the same is the ship. So that's kind of what we have as our station, so to speak, right? So yeah,
Nice.
it's ever
Awesome
evolving.
idea.
I thanks. I've got to do a new one because like that room's changed. There's so many new little refined
Mhm.
changes in there, and
Right.
I haven't done so much construction on it lately as add in more 3D printed stuff or more like small features to it. So
Nice.
definitely update.
Sure, we'll get into that in a little bit. But yeah, like I said, that was the very first thing of yours that caught my attention, and I was hooked. I was immediately
Awesome.
hooked because it was such a brilliant idea. Like you said, most people build a station, so it's a fixed spot. So what I did to make my thing a little bit unique as well was instead of making mine just a station, the way I connect to the rest of the multiverse or universe is I made my station an actual wormhole
Oh yeah,
gateway.
yeah.
So
Cool.
that's how I can connect to other people as well, right? But I love your concept of being able to explore the universe or explore the multiverse with your ship. And with
And
that being said, go ahead.
in addition to the lore that's brilliant on that build, what I love is that you have it like 360-degree accessible, like
Yeah.
it's in the middle of the room, and I love that because I wish I would have a station that like it
So
Can
totally
access from
reminds
all
me
sides.
of how Empire Toyworks has got his rock gut station in the middle
right,
of the.
right.
Yeah.
So I love that. I would love to have a station
So
like
that's
that.
funny
Beautiful.
because I almost put it up against the wall. And recently, so we're looking at buying this house and retiring here. So that means I actually get to like this basement gets to be mine. Like for the past 20 years, I've been picking everything up every 2 years and packing it all away, or it's in
Right.
storage, or whatever. So I've actually got to expand into a space that fits my stuff this time for the first time in like forever. And so I built this as a flag, as a USS flag expansion
Right.
underneath it. And then I was like, I don't want the flag piece. I like the part that I actually built more.
Mhm.
And the 360, the idea was like you were saying, like, you get to play from both sides, but it's really deep. And
Yeah.
when we play, well, the boys and I were like shoulder to shoulder into one room. I was like, man, I wonder about this design concept for 3 people. So I almost was going to cut it right down
Ooh.
length this year and then take those 2 halves and go like this. But the boys like, no, don't do it. Don't do it. I was like, okay, all right. So I'm going to leave it 360 for now. But
Well,
I
I'm
wouldn't do
glad
it either.
I'm glad
Because
they convinced you not to do that because I would not want to see that. I actually love
because
this setup the way that it is.
yeah, and even though it's deep, you still have improved accessibility because mine it's I don't know, it's about 1.60 meters deep now from 2 sides, and it's
Oh
in the
wow.
corner. So if I want to do something like
get like a
second
claw.
shelf way deep inside, I don't. It's like I have to
Yeah.
hang a rope from the ceiling and
Yeah.
swing in there or something.
Or
Yeah,
knock everything over.
and
Yeah.
then so the only other thing I debated doing too was lifting it because Finn's only like 3.5 feet tall. I think he's still really
Right.
short, right? So if I go up another deck, he can't play without a stool. And I was like, oh
Right.
man. So I want to lift it up almost like
Mhm.
another foot, but make like a surface front with like greeble work, but make it cabinets. Like actually put like
Oh,
cabinets
okay.
there for storage for all the bins and stuff. But Finn
Nice.
protested because he's like, not until I grow. I'm like, okay, fine. So like,
Well, you're a good dad, man. You're a good dad. Well,
yeah.
that's like Utah Don. He incorporates his storage into
Yep,
his
exactly.
diorama as well. So that's a very cool concept, very brilliant idea. And actually, I can relate to the whole concept of not having your own space. So you're kind of always in flux.
Mhm.
And right now, I'm still trying to contemplate whether or not I want to build my city. If you notice behind me, there's a big mess.
Yeah.
Because of the fact that I took everything down because I'm be painting the walls to actually start the construction of the station. And even though we may sell the house later on this year, I'm hoping we don't. But even if we do, I still want to build this city. Might as well have something for now rather than not have anything at all, right?
Right.
So
No, yeah.
now before we actually start going into some of the stuff that we're working on, I want to actually share my screen for a second here because I even though it's kind of a plug for me as well, I kind of want to show this one off. Just give me 1 second here. Let me pull that up.
Thanks everyone who's joined the chat here. A lot of
Yeah, you
awesome
guys are
people in the
doing
chat. That's
awesome.
great.
I'm
Such great
betting
support.
it's gonna be Action Force, is it? Actionverse, is it?
No, not yet, not yet.
No,
But
yeah, okay.
that
You're
is
plugging
coming.
yourself.
But I want to plug
Oh.
this first. So
Ah.
let's get into
Maya's
this.
latest destination.
Oh,
Commander.
So yeah, I wanted to plug that because of the fact that, well, one, it kind of touches on what you were talking about earlier in terms of sharing, actually being able to explore space and that kind of thing. So that was something you had started doing for a little bit. Obviously, you've branched off to so many things right now. But
Yeah.
the thing that I liked about that is that one of the main things your channel does is you actually praise all the little people. You know, all the as long as it's about toys,
hey, you made it.
you're all about, you know,
And
showing them
Tom,
off. Hey,
still there?
Famine, good to
Yeah,
see you.
yeah.
Glad to see that you're here. I'm hoping you're doing well, Famine. But yeah, that's one of the things that I love about your channel is that, like, even the small toy companies, all those independent toy companies, you
Oh,
tend
yeah,
to
yeah,
go
yeah.
and praise them. And I love that about your channel is that you show importance to everyone, not just the big guys, but the little guys as well. So that's
Thanks.
awesome to see.
Well, I think that there's so much talent out there too, right? Like, I was just messaging someone. I'm completely blanking his name because I only know his actual name because we've been chatting. But he makes these
Mhm.
amazing 1/12 Mythic Legion Savage Crucible Dios, and I was like, bro,
Right.
like, how do you, like? I have so many questions for you, and he only has a very small following on IG. And I was like, man, this is crazy. You only have like 200 people right now. So I was like, wait a minute, come onto our channel. Like, you deserve, like, you know, like, I'm whatever I can do at a small amount that I can carry. Like, I'd love to
Right.
be able to showcase your stuff. So yeah, I think it's important. I think it's it helps build a community, right? And like, you see
Mhm.
people in the chat here. There's a lot of actually talented people in the chat too. You don't just have viewers for
Yeah,
this show,
exactly.
you have creators as well. So, you know, it's great.
I
Exactly.
think Famine is still on drugs, by the way.
What's he saying?
He says Famine is amazing.
He is indeed.
All the
Like,
colors.
we have such a great network, and I'm so glad we've kind of started our own little network as well. We have a network where every day there's something to watch. So like on Mondays we have the Toy Squad with Famine, Rad, and those guys. We have on Tuesdays we have Famine doing live customizations and chatting with the audience, which is amazing. Obviously Wednesdays you have us, but then Thursdays we have Toy Domination. Then Fridays we close the week off with WMC with Rad Toys and those guys. So definitely check out all those things. You'll see it in the description after the show what time everybody has their shows, but definitely check out everybody here. Now, with that said, I kind of want to talk about stuff that we're working on these days. So
I
sorry,
found
go
that
ahead.
guy. Can I plug him real quick? It's
Yeah, go ahead.
Plastic Playtorium. And he's
Nice.
got this
Oh.
little blue icon on there too. Like,
Yeah, I follow him, I think.
yeah, amazing Dio
He's
setup.
got
Like,
awesome stuff.
yeah, so
At
good.
least I know the name, and usually I don't know a name if I don't follow him. So yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, so really
So
great stuff.
actually send me a message with that name, and
Oh,
I'll
yeah,
put it
sure.
in the
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
description as well later on,
Yep.
so that people can go and follow him as well. Because we
Absolutely.
definitely want to show him some love. Because like you said, big channel, little channel, it doesn't matter. Everyone's important because they're part of the community, and we definitely want to give them the opportunity to be showcased, right? So that may be
Yeah.
someone we bring onto the show if he's
Björn,
not too afraid to be in front of the camera.
Excuse me, Björn, you're absolutely right. But at least some of the Sundays are covered because Brian from Multiverse and
Mhm.
Battle Ray Bob are doing a show every, I don't know, once a month or something.
And
they
then there's
just had a
Wilhelm.
brilliant show this week showcasing
Mhm.
all the teams. And also there is, I think every Sunday now there is Wilhelm
118.
Toys and Hobby
Yeah.
with his 118. And
Definitely check them out.
at a
3:30.
European-friendly time, that is.
Yeah, 3:30
So, yeah.
Eastern. So definitely check them out. Because I believe now they are every Sunday. So that's actually great to hear.
Oh, good. Yeah.
Outer Multiverse and Beta Ray Bob, they do their show I think like once or twice a month. But we'll definitely plug them whenever they're doing their shows. So that way you guys know when they're going to be on. But definitely check them out so that way you can be aware of when they're going to be airing their live streams.
Yeah. And Bjorn, Saturday is your slot.
And actually, there's something that you had mentioned, Dom, when you were talking about plugging the different channels and stuff, is that you play. You actually play with
Yes.
your toys, which isn't something that most people do. And this is something I wanted to ask you because I play as well. I actually, when I'm doing my photography and stuff, I love to make the sound effects. I get into what I'm
Yeah.
doing and I actually have fun. Now, do you do the same thing when you're doing your photography and all that sort of stuff?
Oh yeah, yeah, 100%. So I can't imagine with some of the setups that you all do with, as beautiful as the photography is. I know sometimes it's a one shot, well, 1,000 shots to get that one shot right, and then break it down and reset it.
Mhm.
But I can't imagine there not being a story and an inner dialogue running through your head to try
Mhm.
and match what you're trying to achieve, right? Like there's an attitude, there's an atmosphere you're trying to capture. So yeah, I can't imagine, and like especially if there's like an action shot with like an explosion, you got to understand, you're trying to figure out like where'd that blaster come from. He dodged, this would blow up here, right? So yeah,
Exactly.
100%. And then so I'm doing when I do the scripted videos, while I'm posing, I have the narration going in my head too. Like, what would he be saying here? Would he be like,
Right.
would you doing this? With hands on his hips. So yeah, absolutely. That's all going through there constantly. And then when the boys and I play, yes, sound effects, voices, any of that stuff. I have no shame to do
Awesome.
voices. I dungeon mastered for a long time too. So like no
Nice.
problems with that. So
So that's what DM is, Dungeon
yeah, yeah,
Master.
yeah,
All
yeah.
this time I kept thinking because when I used to play a lot of the tabletop types of games, we always used to call them GMs, right? Game
GM,
Master,
DM, yeah,
right?
yeah,
So,
yeah.
when
Yep.
I kept wondering, what the heck is a DM? And thanks for breaking that down for me. But actually, with you talking about making your videos and that sort of thing, that kind of leads us into our next segment. So let's get into that.
No, bigger. Smaller. No, it's the one with a hole on the end that curves this way. I think I saw it once before over there in that pile near the circulators. There you go. I always knew you were the smart one.
Okay, so now
Look at
we're
that swag. Thank you, man.
So we're actually into. I know that's awesome. Way to represent. I'm still
Thank you.
waiting for my T-shirt to come in. Hopefully that comes in this week.
Yes,
But
Brian.
Man, thank you.
yeah, so one of the things that the other things that I really love about your channel is your videos, because one of the things that and for those who don't know, you are in the military and you actually bring that into your content, which is an amazing thing. And we'll touch on one of the most important things that you're working on, which I truly enjoy, which is called Actionverse. We'll get into that in a little bit, but I kind of want to talk about these particular pictures that you sent us here
Yeah.
and what this is in regards to. Is this part of the Actionverse thing,
Nope.
or are you just having fun?
No, so so I don't have any greeble stuff right now because I've just been doing like these type of photography, right? So
Although in actually some of these photos there are greeblies in here. So
okay, fair enough. Yeah, so
anyways,
if
go
actually
on.
you look at that top
That
right,
actually counts. Yeah.
yeah, so that,
Exactly.
that right corner over there, where that red vending machine, I actually got that from Tim. So and there's a
Nice.
trash can that'll probably pop up somewhere there too. So I try to like plug people's stuff into my different shops so they get them. But no, so GI Joe Berg put out a call saying, hey, we're doing a collaboration event.
Mhm.
They did one last year or the year before.
Oh,
It
I
was like
remember that.
Seconds to Midnight, right? So this time they said they're doing the story, but they want everyone to give a 60-second clip, and it has to be,
Nice.
do whatever you want, action or whatever. So I messaged them, I was like, hey, I've got an idea, but I want to make sure that I'm not using a Joe that you're using, and I want to like fit into your script, your story, your plot. So without revealing anything, like I have tons of Joes, like so
Right.
don't hesitate to ask, like, well, do you have any of these guys? And like, I may have one or two lying around. So so yeah, so I don't want to tip the hand because they told me some specific
Right.
things. I don't think I showed the specific things in these clips for a reason. But yeah, I made a 60-second clip. I shot it, filmed it, edited it, and then did it in one day here. And then I put it up for members only on the channel.
Right.
I think it's fun. Like I had fun doing it.
Yeah, I love those videos because I get so into it. Like, even though your style's a little bit different than Jerry Joberg, you have your
Yeah,
own style to
definitely.
how you do things. And I
Yeah,
love
yeah.
the fact that you throw in the voice acting and all
Yeah.
that kind of stuff in there as well. So for those of you who don't follow him, go to his YouTube channel after this. Go and check out his videos. He has a lot of awesome content. I actually do want to show off one of your shorts that you have in terms of one of the stories that I enjoyed the most that you've created called Infected. That one was one of my favorite storylines
Yeah.
that you created. So I'm going to show off a little short that you had in regards to that. Of course, I'm plugging myself a little bit too because I'm one of the characters in that particular short. But yeah, it's an awesome thing. I just love your work. Again, I love the fact that you incorporate your military knowledge into this. Sorry, go ahead.
Right there, yeah.
No, I'm good. I'm just interacting with the chat a little. You don't mind me.
But yeah, it's just awesome to see your content and all these amazing. Like this is just actually these are just snapshots from your video, right?
Yeah, this is just from the recent. So these are as many shockwaves as I could find on hand. So I just did a bunch of head swaps. So it was like Shockwave leading a team of urban style dudes, right? And like I don't remember where it was, an IDW comic, and they set it up where it was a main character and they had all these other names for the characters in there. I was like, I don't recognize any of these Joes, man. Maybe these are new for this issue. And they killed them all at the end except for the named character. I was like, oh, that was awesome. So I thought it would be cool to do the exact same thing. This is for a different, this is for the actual battle video that's coming up next.
Right.
But yeah, so I just, there's an ambush in the video. And again, like I can't talk to the plot, but you can see the whole video on if you're a channel member. So
nice. But yeah, these are amazing shots.
This is me abusing toys. So why I sent these was we have a garden, and like my oldest son and my wife like to garden, but you know it's very incremental. So they have like a couple pots they're working on that always fail. So I'm like, hey, no one's using this garden, so I'm gonna use it until you guys figure out how to grow potatoes or whatever. So I have now been digging out there and like cutting stuff down, leaving stuff growing wild too. So I have some areas, and one of the areas I dug in, it's been raining constantly. I was like, well, I'm not going to stop filming. So I've been filming out there and just like absolutely slugging stuff out. Oh, there's guys actually eating hot chow in the field there. So
nice. Like that's what I love. Like every picture has a story. And like you were talking about earlier, when you're actually creating your content, you actually have the narrative in your head. It's just so amazing to see that.
So go ahead. This video is going to be different than any of the ones I've done before because I've waffled on, like you kind of hit on it too. Like G.I. Joeberg was a huge inspiration for me to start doing YouTube, and the fact that adults were unabashedly playing with toys, like they even call it play action, like that's a milestone. Like that's not a review, that's not photography, that is play action. It's not stop. I was like, that's a milestone for me. So that like broke a paradigm in my brain to be like, you can do this. Like you can do this, man. Like so. But I don't feel comfortable doing the play action because my fingers are too fat and big. And they get in the way. No, they get in the way constantly. And like I tried to study how they do it. I'm like, man, they are meticulous at how they get their fingers.
They are quite good with that.
So I can't, or I don't have the patience for that. But what I can do is try to take pictures instead, and then make the action enough so you're not staring at a picture for too long, right?
Right.
So before I just did videos that were half battle report because I love miniature tabletop games. So it was like a battle report with some like flavor and effects added into it to keep it interesting. But I was like, I think I just want to do straight stories now. And that's what this is this is the start of a 5-episode or maybe 6-episode actual story going through a campaign. And I'm reaching out to people to be like, hey, it's got a big cast. So I need a bunch of people to like be random characters throughout it. Like I need more help. My range of voice acting is about this much. So I need some more there. So
but yeah, definitely enjoy those. Actually, speaking of your stories, I want to I did mention it earlier, the infected storyline. I'm just going to share my screen for a second because I definitely want to show that short because it's so much fun. You get so involved in your storytelling that it's so hard not to be captivated by it.
Oh, thank you.
So let me just bring that up. Let me make sure I choose the right thing. I'm still getting used to it. Oh, there we go. So let's start off with this one here. Now, I just kept it with the shorts because I want people to go and check out your channel to check out the full videos.
The crow charges, tapping into her ability to enhance any melee attack. To no avail.
Showcasing your voice talent.
The soldier would have laughed at her pathetic attempt. A Titanus steps in and vaults a heavy attack, knocking Crow prone. What is this? More sacrifices for Ithuka? Pirates, an agility fighter, has an extra action dice, which he spends rushing through the ship to the arms room.
Anyone in there friendly? Hey man, you still with us?
Outside, 2 soldiers concentrate their fire on the door to the lab, the Yingtha's last objective.
Awesome.
But definitely, yeah, definitely check that out. Hold on, let me stop that.
Yeah, the
And
worst
of
part of
course,
that
I
is
can't stop it.
that was
Hold on.
Oh, but it's
That
not
was a-
on the screen anymore.
yeah. Oh,
All right.
for a while, the machine's got
Anyways,
you.
go on.
The AI's got you. So that was a game that my son and I played, and then I decided to narrate and redo it picture by picture afterwards and stuff. It didn't get any traction really though, right? So it's broken into 3 episodes, and like the
Right.
comments are like, "Oh, I love these, love these, love these." People shared it, but it didn't get any like real views compared to some other videos. So I was like, "Man, I don't know if I'm going to do that anymore." But
Right.
the more I wrangled,
That's something that I experienced on my Instagram as well, because I tried, especially in the beginning, I made like real comics. Like I took the pictures
yes,
and then I edited them so they looked like comics, and I told stories
yeah,
like I did recently with the digging process. And my experience is there's a tiny fraction of people who really dig it, and they
Yeah.
comment and they go, "Yeah, that's cool," but you don't really get a lot of likes and not a lot of views, because it doesn't. I think it doesn't appeal to the how fast Instagram is.
Mhm.
So you can't remember what has been there yesterday or 3
yeah,
days
yeah,
ago,
yeah,
and
Right.
so so I stopped that. But I love watching your videos anyways, and I
Thanks.
love because you said that earlier. I love how you decided to sort of make it a comic. Yeah, individual frames that
Right.
then tell the story.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And when you, and it's not all, I know it's not all about the views and likes, but like when you put that much work into filming all those pictures, because like right now the last video I'm doing, I think I uploaded 1,500 pictures, right, just from
Oh,
like
wow.
from like, so it's a ton because you have to
Yeah,
purge some of
that's a
those,
lot of work.
it's a ton, and then you're editing those videos to, or
Oh,
pictures,
geez.
and you're adding in voice, all this stuff, so it's hours of work. So like when you only get a few hits, you're like, man, man, that's a kick in the pants.
Yeah, it
So,
almost sometimes it makes you feel like was it really worth all that effort,
yeah,
right?
exactly. Like I enjoy those a lot still. So, but that like what's funny is my now he's 9-year-old. I will talk to him about these things. I'm like,
Mhm.
I don't know, T, and he's like, Dad, just do what you love because you'll go back and watch those again.
Exactly.
And
I was about to say that.
I'm like, oh man, kid,
Yeah.
But yeah, I totally
but-
agree with
but-
that.
That's always the same. Like when you just take a random shot of something you just acquired, like a shelfie or whatever,
Yeah.
and
Mhm.
you post it, and it gets hundreds
Yeah.
of likes, and then
Yeah.
you do something where you be like, okay, this took me 2 hours to set up,
Right.
and then I did 3 hours of editing, and this is really a good picture, and it's like 50 likes, and you're okay. But
Yeah.
It's the fucking algorithm. Sorry.
Yeah. No,
So,
you never know, man. So like,
We're all
but
adults here.
it honestly, like, it is discouraging though, right? Because you make a lot of effort and you put it out there too. So it is about what you want, but it's also so one of my favorite YouTubers who does D&D is Matt Colville, and one of his
Mhm,
philosophies
yep.
is that you don't have to make the best product out there, but you need to try to make it look good, right? So like,
Right.
you don't have to buy a $6,000 camera and a $500 mic, but you can buy good enough to make it look good, and
Right.
you should be refining yourself every step of the way. So like, Outer Multiverse actually commented on that G.I. Joe short that I just, not really short, but whatever, the video I just put up. He's
Right.
like, oh, this is your best work so far. I was like, I think so too. I think I've refined just from that short you saw there. Like I was watching that compared to what I just did. I was like, oh yeah, no, the next one is smoother and blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? So like
Right.
that's a
Yeah.
sense of success too, to know that whatever your craft is, that you're tweaking at it, little by little to get it better. So
Yeah,
I-
that one
that's why I
definitely.
like-
Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, that's why I like going back at older pictures and older customs and older stuff, because by the time you posted them, that's why it's like, okay, this is my best thing and this is my
Yeah,
newest
yeah,
thing. Look at
yeah.
it. And now you
Yeah.
go back and go, oh, okay, you could have done better there. And then it shows that you actually improved, because
Right. Yeah.
you don't. I don't know about you, but I don't feel like I've improved like on a day-to-day basis. But then
Right.
going back, it's like, okay, yeah, and your lighting's gotten better as well. So yeah.
Yeah. Plus, we're also our worst critics, right? So
True,
Yeah.
yeah, but I mean, like, you also have to know yourself. Also, like, so I write a lot too, or I did,
Mhm.
and so it's hard to self-edit. Like, it's really hard to self-edit, right? So you put a piece of work aside, and you come back to you're like, okay, what how can I actually make this sentence tighter, right? So like
Right.
just going in with that, not bashing it, but understanding like what's the framework I'm supposed to look at this in, and trying to judge it from that, rather than like, oh, I sound stupid, or oh, like, you know, whatever, like, you know, trying to get that out of the way.
Right.
Self-editing is tricky, but I think it's once you can do that and like look past your own biases, which I'm not saying I'm there at all.
Right.
It does help you to improve your work, and kind of like what you were just saying was like, hey, if I can compare previous shots and actually look at them and be like, oh, I did way better on lighting here. I've learned how to use this technique now.
Right.
You know, so I think that's a good mentality.
And it also helps to have a community like the one that we have, because you can learn from everybody else. That's kind of why we have our shows, is to show people, hey, this is what other people are doing, but I'm also learning from the people that I talk to, that I absorb their content.
I wish Bjorn would detail a little on
Yeah, I didn't understand it either. His garden comment was really funny too.
Yeah. So after all the compliments, he's being feminine.
I knew that was you. I knew that was you outside. Stay out of my bushes. Also, this guy, the lead will walk the earth, Adam. Really solid dude,
Adam,
too.
good guy.
Yeah. So he's helping a lot behind the scenes right now with I know you're going to talk about this in a minute, the Action Verse book too. So I really appreciate his efforts in there too.
Cool.
So.
That's awesome. I had no idea because you did mention that you guys are doing collaborations. I thought it was more like photos, videos, that kind of thing. But yeah,
I'm going to pull him in to do some voice acting too. Like one of the ideas is to have one of the factions that are in the upcoming battle video. So you know how Enemy of the Gates, all the Russians have a British accent and all the Germans have an American, right? So like it's, but in your mind, it helps you because it's just dialects essentially, right? Between English and American English. And so it helps you deviate to be like, oh yeah, okay, these are all the Russian characters. They have this accent, right? So I wanted to do the same thing in this video. And I was like, crap, that's going to be tricky because there's 3 factions. So I leaned on Adam. I was like, hey man, like, and then he actually sent me a voice clip to practice. Like, that is awesome. You're in. Let's do it, dude. So I got excited. So.
That's awesome.
Was it empty, Bjorn?
But actually, one of the things that you had touched on, and we didn't really, I don't have any pictures of it, but one of the things you touched on is that you do writing. And I understand you have a book. I'm actually waiting for that to come. And I was hoping it would have been in by today, but
really?
It hasn't come in yet. So I just ordered that. And from what I hear and from what people have said, it's a great book. And based on your knowledge and how you do your videos, I can only imagine how good the storytelling is. Because I'm actually working on a book myself. So it's good I want to be able to see what other people are coming up with. Because like you, I'm really into like sci-fi military stuff. I love that aspect of things. And that's kind of where my stories take place, is kind of making it plausible fiction. You know what I mean? So
yep.
So I just love the way that you put your words together. You're very eloquent with how you put your words together. So sorry, go ahead.
Isn't it called hard sci-fi? Well, at least in Germany, it's called hard sci-fi.
Hard sci-fi is when you get into Star Trek Plus. That's when you actually have like the physics explaining the shields. Like there's a really good First Contact book. God, I'm complete. Oh, The Mote in God's Eye, and it's written by 2 astrophysicists, and they actually show like a formula on how their shields work, and like that's very hard sci-fi. Whereas you've got more grounded sci-fi, where they're like, yeah, we're gonna say this is like this, but you know, we've built our own rules. It doesn't necessarily apply to physics, right? So when you start looking at like faster light travel, people like for me, for example, I'm like, it happens, just move on. Like I don't want to explain it. All right, let's just go on with it, right? Like it's good. Okay. So
and I think that's. The way the genre, excuse me, the way the genre is described here in Germany, or is used here in Germany, hard sci-fi, that is sci-fi that is sort of starting off from where we are now with technology, and then doing something very plausible. It's sci-fi, but it could well be just like that. So there's no beaming or transwarp or whatever. There's just so
The Expanse is a great example of that, because like that's they look for they project forward based on where we're now. So sure. I dial back a little bit more from a little less from hard sci-fi, because I'm terrible at math. So I never want to get called out for like the math of those things. I'm like, leave me alone. I don't know, man. So
and that's the thing. I started like for my book as well. I started studying quantum mechanics, and I was like, oh my goodness, this stuff is so complicated. Like you, I suck with math, right? But I still want to make things plausible, so I kind of like just touch the surface of those subjects and sprinkle it around in my story. So I know that some of the people who really understand that stuff will get it, and those who don't understand it at all will also get it because I keep it simple enough, right? So
I have got to get off my duff and write another book, because you talk about like comparing photos together. When I go back and read that book, like I don't really promote it that much, because when I look at it, I'm like, oh man, okay, like this is my writing style then. But now, you know, my sentences are smoother. I know how to like structure paragraphs a little bit more cleanly. So I'm like, oh man, like it's not bad at all. But like for me, I'm like, no, I can do better than this. And also it was too big for first book. It was too many subplots. And I was like, man, I've got 2 more that are half baked, like actually written. And I split it from one main one. I was like, no, dude, just do like a 250-page book, cut that, push it out, right? And dial down the characters too. So like, I love going back and forth between the opposing sides. Like you'll see that in the next battle videos. It goes between the 3 factions pretty evenly. And the other things I love doing is the areas of grace. Of like, you had that picture where the guys were eating chow. The dudes sitting are part of our cartel, and the guy walking is part of a regular line unit. And like, you think you're rooting for those guys, the underdogs. Yeah. So like the guy in the brown or in the gray there is from the Hellic Guard, a very national force. They're declaring their independence, but the dudes sitting down are also declaring independence against the same dudes, but they're the cartels. So they're also running the black markets, and they're shady. And like, you're like, man, who am I rooting for here? But they're on the same team, and there they are eating hot chow with this guy's covered in dirt coming back from the line, right? So like, even within in a faction, there's divisions or like, you know, different shades. So I always love trying to like make, you know, peel that onion to see. Yeah. So I meant to crop this shot, but this is inside a truck. So I showed the outside of a covered truck, and I didn't know how to shoot inside something that's covered, right? Because you can't like in there. So I propped up this camo cloth with like sticks and stuff. So when it's actually cropped, it actually just looks like cloth inside the truck. So
okay, cool.
Yeah, so there you go, a little bit better, right? And that's a crappy angle, but I didn't have time to edit these before I pushed them out, so I'm like, here, quick. So
but yeah, these are such amazing. Like again, I just get so into your videos because of the fact that your storytelling is just so top notch. I just love how you put your stories together. And like I said, you're very eloquent with the wording and everything. So your vocabulary really gets direct and to the point. So you actually tell a specific story, and you never get bogged down with all the fluff, right? So you get right into the good stuff, and that's the part that I really do enjoy as well.
That's good to know, because my scripts take a lot of time to write.
Like, and that's the thing. Most of the time, I don't even write scripts.
It does show, definitely.
Thanks, man.
Oh, and like you, I'm like you. I want to get back into writing. Hey, how's it going, man? Josh, good to see you. So that's how I kind of started my Instagram channels, by telling, or page, was telling stories. And I kind of went away from that because I guess with the live stream and then going to YouTube, I kind of went away from what I started with, which was storytelling. And I do enjoy storytelling. I have all these stories, but now I have to go and take all these pictures to do that, right?
I think after we actually get the Action Verse game into a book format and it's out there, then I'm going to pivot from that and write a book and then go back to Action. Like, so that, I think that's what I'm going to do too. Cause like these are all the Valen. That's a light tank. I got a couple of them recently. And so those dudes in the red are the Red Tarantulas. They're a private military corporation. And they're there to basically stop this insurrection. So the planet's being like, hey, we're done. We're out. We're going to make our own planet. And the rest of the Valen planetary union's like, the hell you will, because you help refine space fuel. So it's just like in the real world, if you have oil, everybody suddenly cares about you, right?
Exactly.
So, same kind of idea.
Your work is not only top notch, it's two notch.
Oh, man. it's just too notch.
It's just too notch, man.
There's this guy getting some on a dead mech. Yeah, using his cover.
Nice. And then there's actually one picture. I think it's the last picture that I have in the slides. That I just love it. Yeah,
what
this
are
is the
these
one.
little? Can you go back? What are those little red things?
It's a rocket. Looks like.
Yeah, those are the missile pods for the mech. So I actually started slowly army building those Robotech or Macro, whatever the Exo Squad line is that stole those shamelessly from Robotech. I started slowly army building those just to fill this campaign because one of the opponents uses mechs instead of wheeled vehicles.
Right.
And by the way, mechs suck. So they get
I love mechs.
Yeah, they're really cool, but they're the solution to no one's problem. Like nobody asked for that solution to be like, hey, I've got this great idea. Let's make something really tall that everyone can see and shoot up at, and it walks and it's slow. And oh, by the way, because it's bipedal, it can't carry a lot of things, which means it doesn't have a lot of ammo either. So like there's all sorts of problems with mechs, but they are really cool. So
oh, for sure. Although
there's screws in the tomatoes. Yes.
Japan's doing some pretty good work with their mechs. They have those 3-wheeled mechs and stuff like that. So
now, if you were to put it on a chassis, it's basically a tank with a robot body. Now, if you were to give it spider legs, though, then I would start seeing an argument because you could. This is me completely nerding out, but like on a spider leg platform, if you could lower the body, or if you could extend the body, that would make a ton of sense. But too bipedal, terrible.
True. And this is the picture I was talking about, the leg that got cut off. Like that's just brilliant.
The picture got cropped a little bit there, I think. But I took that's a piece of tomato that I flipped inside out for the meat on the end of the knee. I just unscrewed the leg, and then I took a Q-tip and I cut it. I meant to cut it. I should have cut it a little bit more. And I took a bunch of shots, but my fingers got covered in fake blood. So I accidentally bloodied up the Q-tip because when, if you've ever seen like injuries, a lot of times the bone is pure white because like the rest of the meat and stuff gets blasted off. So the bones go. So I wanted that pure white Q-tip to stick out with the red, but I accidentally bloodied up the dog.
It still looks amazing to me.
Yeah, I was proud of it. Yeah.
Like that's a great shot.
Yeah, there you go.
And that's what I love about your photos too. Is like you really get into it. Like you have that one battle where you have the guys fighting in the snow and there's blood everywhere. I'm like, oh my goodness, this is so
I love
awesome.
that one. So
that's like my favorite one in your story.
There's 2 action points. Natural lighting, yeah. So I hit you guys up in the chat a while ago when I was struggling with like, hey, it's been raining constantly. I'm thinking about trying to film inside, but like there's all sorts of stuff in the room in the background, right? And the scale that I'm using, like if you saw those tank pictures, it's hard to hide that much, right? You'd have to basically make 2 walls worth of background plus all the lighting. If you look at that like column back there, and the range shots too. Like if you look at the picture where it's the mech looking out over, like I want to capture that to see like the vehicle's point of views, right? So I'm like, crap. So I go outside, but yeah, I get away with a lot of cool lights because like it'll be gray out, and I'm like, oh, perfect, like so it's like and a lot of these I filmed in the rain, but I was like, this is good lighting as I'm getting like
that's the best lighting is a cloudy days are usually the best lighting for photography.
Or early morning or close to sunset.
Whenever the sun's not directly shining on everything, that's usually the best.
But
time.
Whenever it's like sunset, it's family time. Like so as soon as the boys come home from school, right? I'm like sitting outside. So I left all this stuff in the garden. That's the other reason I was able to like actually do these now is because before I was hauling it all outside, setting it all up and hauling it all back in. I was like, this is so much work. But now I'm like leaving it out there. And I know other like real Joe fans will be like, oh my God, look at all those range takes sitting in the sun. I'm like, that's right. They're going to get baked. Like they're going to sit out there, going to get rained on and muddy. And I started showing videos on my IG with like driving through mud and like someone made a comment too. Like, I hope that gets a nice bath afterwards. I'm like, probably not.
Nope.
It's going to get rode hard and put away dirty, man.
That's how you know it's been used, man. That's how you know it's, it's like in universe.
Yes, exactly.
That's awesome.
Great. Yeah. Yes. Leave it. Yes.
So that's what happened. Yeah. And I love it.
Yeah. And that's the other thing with the vehicles. Like if they get sun faded, I'm like, I don't care because I'm gonna hit it with spray paint and it'll be a different color.
Exactly.
The figures are the only ones that I actually cover out there because I don't want to repaint that many figures. Like I had I think there's like 20 of those red dudes. I'm like, I'm not repainting all of you. So I hate painting figures. Yeah, I shelter them, but like so.
That's awesome, though. I just love how into it you get. It's just so amazing. It automatically makes me get into it because you're so into it. You can usually tell when someone's very passionate about what they're doing because they put so much effort into what they're doing and they get so into it that it's so hard not to be enthralled by it. Right?
That carbon snow video, the one you were talking about, the 2 dudes outside. So like, I don't know. I saw all the snow out there and then I had some fake blood. I was like, I want to use fake blood in the snow. And then I came up with the story afterwards, right? But like that video, did relatively well. I was pleased with how it was received, right? Like, so that was my tipping point. After the infected videos didn't land so well, that one, which was all narrative, no game, very concise, I was like, yep, that's what I want to do. That was the tipping point to make me go, I'm going to do some just pure storytelling videos now. So thanks to everybody who supported that one, because it definitely motivated me to be like, okay, I have something here. I just need to do it like that and then keep going. So
awesome. So speaking of games, you actually are in the process of developing a really awesome tabletop game, which is called Actionverse. And for those of you who haven't seen it, on Sunday, me and a few of the other guys, we got a chance to play another session of that game. So definitely go to Dom's site, or you can even check it out on my playlist as well, for where I show up live. You can see some of the video there, but that was a whole lot of fun. And so what is Actionverse about for those of us who don't know?
Well, I think everyone here is aware or has played at some point in time, but it's an agnostic action figure game that you can play with any scale. I say that every time, but then as soon as I start thinking about 12 inches, I'm like, maybe not every scale, but you can play with 4-inch and 6-inch scales. I'll say that.
Right.
And you can play with
minis.
Yeah, you could even do with minis. Yeah, exactly. Like Zilla Customs was like, can I use minifigures for this? I'm like, give it a shot. I'd love to see how that would work.
Right.
And it's a 5-team skirmish-based game. You can play with any figures you have in your collection. All you need is some D6 and the rule set, and you can go out there and just slug it out and slaughter. And the idea is that you can customize as you go along too. So whatever you put onto your figure, you're using in game, right? So like during the last game, if you picked up a weapon, you're using that weapon, you're putting on body armor, taking off body armor. And the rule book has for solo play as well as team versus team, right? So like we can do competitive, head to head, or there's 5 scenarios in there, and Adam's helping pick those apart for me in a good way to walk through. And in between the scenarios, given like an RPG kind of light session, you finish the scenario and there's a downtime activity, which for like old school D&D, even Hero Quest, the game that Games Workshop made that wasn't Warhammer, there in the rule book, there was like downtime. You return to the tower, you return to camp. There's something like that built into this as well. So between sessions, you go and you do like ultra stuff. But the idea is you add to your own world building. So if you're just starting out, like for you, for example, Pirates, if you were just starting out building your world, there's actually prompts in this book to be like, hey, so you have a bar now. There's an NPC. Go make the NPC. Here's a couple side quests for your bar. Oh, there's these things too, and it asks you questions, and you're like, oh, so it's part of your in-game experience to actually build your world too. So.
Yeah, definitely an awesome game. Definitely go check out the video. It's a whole lot of fun. And then I understand too is that this year at Joe Fest, you're going to be running a booth so that people could play that game firsthand.
Yeah.
So what made you want to, because I know you guys went to Joe Fest for the first time last year.
Yeah.
And you guys had a lot of fun. I enjoyed watching some of your video content in regards to your digging through boxes and stuff that. Yeah. But what made you want to actually have your game be tested out there?
It's a great place to showcase it. I think that one of the reasons, is for exposure, right? Just get more exposure to it. And I was going to have a table set up for Toy Domination, even without running a game. And like, I was talking to Ken. He's like, "What are you going to sell?" I'm like, "Just my brand. I'm just going to sit there and talk to you." Like, that's it. I may just have a table and be like, "Come talk to me." Like, here's a mic. So then someone was like, "Oh, we should do the game there." I was like, "Okay, this is happening now." So I think it'd be fun. And yeah, Bjorn's going to be there 44 days. Oh man, geez.
You're running out of time.
There's so many milestones for me between now and then. Like, Mother's Day, call your moms, by the way. Yeah. My son's birthday, we're going on a family trip for like 2 weeks, and then like there are so many things built into that. So after Joe Fest, I'm just gonna probably die. My plan.
Take a long nap.
Yeah.
But that's awesome. But even though you didn't send us any pictures from greeblies and stuff like that, there were still a lot of greeblies within the content that we did show today, like the bloody Q-tip and some of the. I remember in the video I saw, hey, is that a pencil holder? Like those little towers and hold pencils. I'm like, oh my goodness, that looks like it looks like a sci-fi type building or something, right?
I had that for like 15 years.
I was about to say that's like an old school one.
Yeah, it's like a fountain. Yeah, it's a fountain center. So we just drop it in the middle of a city, and it's like there's the fountain, So but
it looks cool though.
Yeah.
So that just gives you an idea of the fact that you can throw greeblies into anywhere. And speaking of which, how about we get into greeblies? That should be our next segment.
Are you
and
not
now
working?
it's time for greeblies.
Greeblies! Oh, my precious! Oh, yes, anything can be a greebly!
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there, Lord of Thing. What were you saying?
I was just asking, you're not working on anything for the What You're Working?
Well, I kind of touched on it. It's the station I've been mainly been working on. So that's how come there's a big, huge mess behind me. So like I took down everything that I had on the table because I'm going to start painting this weekend. I'm going to start painting the walls, and I've also started cutting up. I didn't take any pictures of this, but I started cutting up some foam board to start building buildings and things like that. So you'll start seeing more of that. Maybe as of next week, I'll have some pictures that I'll be able to show off. Then the other thing I've been doing too is writing, because I have a whole bunch of characters that I want to start bringing, because I want to bring the storytelling back to my Instagram. That's kind of why I created the WIP Wednesday Live account separate from my Pirates of the Galaxy account, because I want to go back to making that focus on the characters and the storytelling, right? So that you're going to start seeing as of next week. And then this week, I just last night to my the weekly WIP, which actually show people how I build some of the things that I've done. So I finally got around to editing some video, and I put that up yesterday. So check that out after the show as well. And then also go to Toy Domination and subscribe if you haven't already done that. But speaking of greeblies, here we are again, another week with greeblies. So we're going to show you guys a few things that, you can find either laying around the house or you can find in a dollar store. We're going to start off with Mr. Lord of Thing. I'll actually have you go through our pictures here. I'll go through the slides and you can let us know what we're looking at here. So what is this?
So this is what's the word in English? It's a sanding mesh, a metal sanding mesh that you would use on sanding machines.
Oh, okay.
And like you can see there's these 3 packs with I think 50 each, and they're different grades of the actual grating has different grades,
right?
And they're that cheap in the when you go to the Home Depot or something like that. And I use them all the time for like the ventilation covers on my Death Star builds, as in like this picture, here, or I also use them here, another ventilation for the build I made for Starboy.
Go back. That's an upside down G.I. Joe radio backpack over Darth Vader's head there. Yeah, that's right.
The green guy.
Dalton.
Exactly.
There's no fooling you.
These are metal, right? These are actually metal.
These are actually metal. Yeah.
So I always use the stupid plastic knitting, the knitting.
Those are good too, though.
But they wouldn't hold paint at all, and they would crack. And
do you sand them first?
No, hell no, I'm too lazy. But this looks like a way better way to do it.
Yeah, it looks good just as is, and it does take paint very well. So,
there you go.
Nice. Well, there you go. You learn something new every day, right?
I watch a ton of miniatures. So again, D&D and miniatures and all that stuff too. And like Black Magic Craft is awesome.
Oh yeah, he's my favorite Canadian. Yeah.
And he steered away from like the plastic knitting net things too. And I was like, oh man, what can I use? So this looks like a great substitute. So
Joel, no, they won't rust, I guess, because they like the metal is actually covered. So I think if I would use them for sanding first, so that all that is gets off, then it might start rusting, but it doesn't happen. So I use the same stuff here, just put some lights behind it for the ceiling of the Death Star. What's it? The prison.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I use steel wool for smoke effects sometimes too, and that
I saw that in some of your videos.
Unless you leave it outside, then it will absolutely rust.
And then it rusts in no time.
Yeah, then it's ruined.
Because some of the metal is actually exposed, right? I know some of it's not.
That's
really it looks really cool.
That top
granny
grating. That's it. Thank you. Yep.
I used the same greebly on the back here.
Oh, cool.
Let me see if I can bring you up
on my what I'm working on. Actually,
that's so cool.
I will not buy one of those. I won't. I don't care how cheap they are. I'll never buy one of those. Standing fast.
You should do it, man. They're awesome. They're so really cheap right now.
That dorsal fin you've got there is really cool.
Is actually a brilliant idea.
Major thrusters down there.
Yeah. Is it foam on the top? Is that what's used for the top piece there? Foam?
That's foam, yeah.
Yeah, cool.
And this is there's some pencils came in that. It's supposed to be some
nice.
pencils.
Yeah, very cool.
So, and I also added this because it's going to be a cargo tip. So there's another greebly. It's just like a lot of strawberry mini plants were in there.
Yeah.
Right.
And I turned it around and painted it up. So it does look like a lot of shipping containers.
It does, yep.
Very cool.
So, and you can turn that around and it fits right underneath the ship.
You should submit that to the Wilhelm challenge as well.
That's as you know, I am fading out of social media and out of building a little. So this is one of 2 projects that I'm still finishing. So this is both my entry for Wilhelm's challenge to
and for ours
customize the Crimson Hawk.
No, you give that to me and I'll submit it on my behalf. Okay, look, if you're fading out, let me take.
He doesn't want to buy one, but he wants to steal yours.
No, yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'll take the credit.
Yeah,
that's
and
awesome.
it's also for our monthly challenge. So
yeah, so we'll get into that in a little bit, like what the rules are and everything for that. So, but that is awesome. That's how come our intro had all those ships. So every week you're going to see a different type of intro with ships because that's our monthly challenge for this month. Okay, so now we're going into some of my stuff here. So some of what I like to use, I know a lot of people, they build with wood and foam core. I also still like to use styrofoam. I believe Toy Domination actually even recently built those big, awesome walls using styrofoam. So definitely, it's just the opportunities to build things is just limitless. So here's some buildings that I've made just using the foam pieces and just paint them,
cool.
add some little posters and that sort of thing just to make it to scale. And you can make it look like concrete with just the right type of paint.
So here's the thing with these, right? So did you paint the bottoms too? Like the bottom where you can't see?
I paint, because what I do is I paint the whole thing black.
Yeah, okay, great.
And then I go back and I touch it up with
So I did
else.
not paint the bottom of those giant walls. And I left one outside. And everything else is perfectly waterproof. But when you flip it up, now it's got black dots all over that styrofoam there. I was like, oh, crap. So
not good.
Yeah, these are super fun. Like, I need to do more of these for outside videos so I can just leave that stuff lying around. Because especially how you made that bridge, if you go back one, now how you bridge that, is that connected or is that just resting on it?
They actually are connected. So basically what I did, the piece that's on the right with the little windows, I cut into that so that the other piece that's on the left can fit right into that spot.
I was going to say, if they weren't connected, then it's awesome because you could have loose pieces that you could set up for different display each time. You know what I mean? Like if you're...
but I can actually take them apart and do that anyways,
awesome.
right?
No,
so
I take
it's very modular because a lot of the time I see, like right now, they're not connected. It's the same. The piece that's on the left that you're seeing there, that bridge part, that's actually what this piece is.
Yeah, very cool.
So I make it so that you can use them modularly. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just, I'm sure everybody has seen that awesome video by Lockdown Production NASA this week.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man.
Where he's like the piles of stuff and then the whole city and everything looks so awesome.
So that made me question. I was like, okay, I've seen his Joy Toy haul where he had it all on his couch, right?
Oh my gosh.
And maybe wonder, like, did he just go out and do a Joy Toy haul but for appliances? So now he has like 5 refrigerators so he can get all that foam. I'm like, where did you there's a foam processing center somewhere around here. And I wanna instead of yard sailing one day, I want to go there on like a Saturday and be like, can I loot your foam? Can I just go through and just like take,
and they're not gonna say no.
Yeah, well, I think the only reason to say no is like a liability thing. Like, no, we don't want you climbing around in our giant bins of foam, sir. You could get hurt. And that, so,
true.
But yeah, I really want to know how he got all those.
That's awesome. Yeah, he does have a lot. Like, that's like a massive stack of foam.
Maybe you can just order the stuff online and send it back outside the packaging. So just keep the packaging and send it back. I don't know.
You have to know. You have to know the exact shape, like your KitchenAid mixer. Like, that's the length and curve I want. So
exactly,
great pack out pieces. Yeah. So that's awesome.
Or vacuum cleaners. That's
exactly.
So,
there you go. Yeah.
What this is for my call center days where they used to use this because for the telephone receiver, in order to lift it up so you can answer the call, this device would lift the receiver off the hang up button so you can actually take the call. But what I want to use them for is like little gateways.
Oh, neat.
So basically what I want to do is I want to attach this to like maybe a little booth or something like that, so that little gate, so that little gray part folds in and out. And it actually even has like a kind of mechanical sound to it. So I kind of want to record the sound of it as well, so that when I do make videos with it opening and closing, you can actually hear the legitimate sound of what it makes. Oh, wait, did I forget a picture? Yes, I did. But this is Starboy stuff. The other thing that I had in here that I wanted to show you guys was those little baskets that you can use for like holding your onions and stuff like that. They're like graded baskets. Unfortunately, I didn't put them in that frame. I don't know why I didn't. But anyway, let's go into Starboy stuff. And he actually provided us the printer cartridges and how you could use them. So the printer cartridges he's used to either make a robot like this one here, which is an amazing concept. And then also, if you notice on the printer cartridge in the picture on the left, that little chip that's on there, he actually used it in different builds as well. So here's more of the cartridge being used.
Oh man,
so like a surveillance device here on a building. Similar thing here as well. Like this amazing ideas that you can come up with using the cartridge.
The caps that go on those cartridges before, when you first buy them and you take them off, they are usually pretty cool as well. They've got these ergonomic shapes, and I use them for all kinds of reasons.
I keep those for seats. I've got like 16 of them for a big carrier I'm building on right now. So the lights also, Starboy, are really cool how you have those mounted in there too. Like lights is always something I'm constantly struggling with installing. So those are some great lights you got going on there too.
Definitely. And then the little chip that I was talking about, he used them on his figures here, which is awesome. So the Rebel pilots have those little, I guess, boxes on the front of their chests.
They're Polaroids. They're little, and comes out.
That's exactly what it is. Yeah.
I didn't even notice it's the greebly. Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
That's so cool, right?
Yeah.
And so that's
I love that.
The weekly greeblies for this week.
Nice.
So remember, guys, whenever you have anything that you use every day, any type of greebly that you want to use, by all means, send it to us to our WIP Wednesday live account, Instagram account, and we'll show you guys that every week. Now, before we go into the monthly challenge to end off the show, I kind of wanted to talk about our favorite toys. So whether it's older toys or newer toys, let's dive into some of that. So I have a few things here. And Dom, we'll get you to start first because we were talking backstage. You're pretty excited. I kind of want to see what you got because whenever you show us your what you gots on your show, I always get so excited about them. So what do you have this week?
So my favorite toy is one of the only 2 acid rating figures I own is the Space Prisoner, but I don't know where he is right now because we were playing with him and he's stuck. I know he's stuck in like some sort of cargo hold or something. So I was like, oh, I don't have that.
Right.
But I did just get this today. Ever since our Exo Squad show, I have been getting more and more Exo Squads. And this is Kaz Takagi's fighter. And I hadn't had one with a completed canopy before. They always snap off.
Yep.
But the weird thing. So this is what's fun. It's got little chicken legs here, right? So it can fold up. And the feet collapse and this goes up here. That's pretty fun for like a vertical landing. The wings come up too, right? They can go all the way around. So these fit inside a carrier really smart. These can change. These wings go up. So like you can just compact this thing inside a character or a carrier, right? So it's like, oh, this is cool. The thing I hate about it, well, one, I love the cyberpunk colors. Like the more, I know I'm very militant, but like, you don't need camouflage when you're dogfighting in space. Like no optical. Right. By the time they visibly see you, you're probably space debris, right? So it doesn't matter what you color this. So I love the cyberpunk colors that they've got going on here. The stupidest thing about it though is that I hope I don't break this on. Yeah, it detaches, right? So like the legs come off, and then this is now this is cool enough as it is, even though there's no real thrusters in here. This is neat, but I always hated that function of detaching. But recoiling gun cannons, like it's just super fun. There's the cockpit. So I love this little guy, and this one was like it was a steal. It was like something like $18, and I was like, absolutely, I'm getting that. So it's really fun, and like I have a couple of these now, and I may not stop. But I want these. So the reason why I don't just hoard these things, I army build, right? So if I get one, unless it's like a one-off, then it's got to have multiple. So I'm trying to get a little 4 of these, so I have matching, and then I've got like a whole, not a squadron, I guess, but I guess it's 4 would be a squadron. So yeah, super cool. Axis Squad, love it.
Nice, that's awesome. Actually, Lord Thane, do you have anything you want to show? Actually, is that the only thing you had to show off today, or do you have more to show us, Dom?
No, that's it, man. That's all. I'm dialing back.
Lord Thane, what do you got?
Yeah, I've got. Well, first of all, I got to say that like my favorite toy probably always is the last figure or last toy I got in, because I'm playing with that and I'm taking pictures of it, and I'm just loving it at the moment. So your question got me thinking, and so I've got 2 things I want to show off. First of all, it's just pure nostalgia, and it is and will always stay my very favorite figure of all times, because it's my very first action figure I ever got.
Oh, look at that! Oh,
nice.
It's my Chewie from 1978 when I was like 5, and he's also my very first custom, because I used my dad's lighter to bend his arm so he could hold the bowcaster back.
Actually hold it. That's great, man.
Yeah.
Nice.
So
that's awesome.
It will always have a special place in my heart. And the other thing I have is it's nothing you can buy, and that's why I have it, because that's the very first custom figure I ever made, and at the same time the very first custom vehicle I ever made. And
oh, nice.
So it's that cool space cowboy sheriff, as you called him, Cobb Vanth is his name, from The Mandalorian.
That looks awesome.
With his speeder. So those were my first customs I ever made, because I figured we'd never get them. And we're still waiting for the figure. He's pipelined, but we're still waiting for it. So yeah, that's also got a special place in my heart, because that's what started me doing customs.
That is so awesome. Great stuff, man. Now I have a couple of stuff as well. First of all, I have this guy, which is Jetfire from Transformers. This was the redesign that they did, and I had to get him because as growing up, I always wanted Jetfire, but I could either never find him, or when I could find him, I couldn't afford him. So I ended up buying this. It wasn't cheap, but it was definitely worth every penny. I love this figure.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Definitely recommend it. And he's very, very posable. That's the thing about the newer Transformers. They're very, very posable. They no longer have the die-cast metal like they used to, but that's okay. I can live with that, because especially when they look this good, definitely love that.
Because the original Jetfire is very gangly. He was very like a jet form is beautiful, but when he was very like linear and gangly. Yeah.
Exactly. So that's why I love the fact that these are ratcheted, so you can put them in different poses, and they usually hold their pose as well. And then for the most recent, so this is kind of touching on what you were just saying, Lord of Thane, is that your newest toy is usually your favorite toy. Well, I just got this in the mail today.
Yeah.
Oh, they are cool.
Now, I got him mainly because I love the color, and I'm making like a little team of my own. So if you watched Outer Multiverse and Beta Ray Bob this last Sunday, they're doing a whole theme about teams. And so my team on there was missing my medic and was missing my heavy gunner, and that's who this guy is going to be. Heavy armor, heavy gunner. And then I have another figure from the Corvus, I think it's called Corvus Belly, from the Infinity. I'm getting another one of those female figures so that I can make her my medic.
Oh, that's cool.
Now, before we head out today, because we're just about done here, we are running a little over the hour, but we're just going to do this last little bit, and then we'll call it a day. All right, so we're in a new month, so that means we have a new challenge. So this month, the challenge is you can make a custom ship. Now, that could be a starfighter, a capital ship, a freighter, shuttle, whatever it is, as long as it's a spaceship. It could be something you scratch build. It could be a kit bash. It could be something that you just repainted. And like Lord of Thane is showing off here, his lovely ship that he's working on right now. So you can do a Firehawk if you want to. Dom won't because he's not going to buy one.
Won't buy it.
But I actually have a Firehawk that I'm working on as well, which is going to be my Punisher ship. I had shown pictures in the past based on that. He actually bought the insert that you can get. Who makes that again, Lord of Thane?
Transwarp refueling port.
Yeah, so definitely go and check out Transwarp Refueling on
and it's
Instagram.
Actually, the set comes with 4 seats, but I decided on only installing 2 because I want to have more storage room in the back. And
nice.
Also have so the paint isn't dry. I just have to get something to wipe off.
So that insert that Lord Thane's talking about, you can actually buy from Etsy, and it fits right into that Firehawk. It was designed specifically for the Firehawk, and like he said, you could put in either 4 seats or you can just put in 2, however you want to do that. So, anyways, what we want to touch upon is that for the month of May, you can build your custom starship, a maximum of 5 pictures and or a 30-second reel, and you send that to our WIP Wednesday live account on Instagram. And at the end of the month, so you have until May 27th, which is a Monday, 11:59 p.m. to finish those off and send those pictures into us. Whether you're done or not, send us in your pictures on what you've got, because we're definitely going to show those off on that same week. So I believe that would be the 29th is when we're going to be showing those off on Wednesdays, the 29th. So again, maximum 5 pictures and or a 30-second reel. You can send that in to us by May 27th, 11:59 p.m. Eastern, and we'll showcase all those on May 29th. So that's the monthly challenge. That's the show. That's all we got for you guys today. So we're so thankful to you, Dom, for showing up today. Thank you for taking time out of your day. It was a whole lot of fun. I learned a lot of stuff. I can't wait now to go back and go rewatch some of your videos, because actually the Infected, that little snippet that I showed of the Infected, kind of makes me want to go back and watch that now, because I really love that story. So again, guys, go and check that out. Go and check out his videos in regards to Action Verse. You won't be disappointed. And it's a game you can even play by yourself. So you don't actually need to have a whole group of people to play it. You can play it by yourself to do some world building. So definitely go and check that out. And for those of you going to Joe Fest, look for the Toy Domination booth and go and check them out. And this Thursday, check out for another one of their episodes, because I believe they're doing a Road to Joe Fest, right?
Wait, so no,
or not this Thursday.
Well, actually, I canceled this tomorrow's show because I'm going to go over to Dork Lairs.
Nice.
I guess I do have one thing. The Savage Crucible are in hand. I adore these little lizards. They're so awesome. So I'm going to go over there, and then I get to go talk to a bunch of other people about these toys. So I know they're not 1/18th, but they're fantastic. They're awesome. So I'm not doing a show tomorrow. I'm going to go somewhere else. So
are those the ones from the Kickstarter that just funded?
Yes.
So I'm getting those too, because I saw them on your show and I definitely wanted them. And that's like, it's going to be my only 1/12 figures.
Man.
So I was thinking of like getting them just to get them funded because I love them, then take some pictures and then giving them away in giveaways.
They're really pretty. They're really pretty and really fun. Yeah. I really, really like them. So they have a couple issues, but whatever. But yeah, I'm going to be going on Dork Lairs channel tomorrow.
Okay. Never mind what I just said. But usually on Thursdays, 9 p.m. Eastern, you could check out Toy Domination. Last week they had an episode where they were talking about Road to Joe Fest, and they're talking about some of the other creators that are going to be there. So definitely go and check that video out as well. And then what was the channel that you're going on tomorrow?
Dork Lair. So I'm going to be talking specifically D&D and Savage Crucible. So that's my plan. So, but Road to Joe Fist will pick up next week. So
awesome. So definitely check out Toy Domination. And then you know what, guys? That's all we have for you guys this time. And until the next video, take care, pirates.
Thanks for having me. Bye, guys. Thanks for coming.
Bye. Exactamundo.